श्रीवासरङ्गपरकालमुनित्रयाप्तलक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैत्युद्युगागमान्तम् आचार्यभक्तिपरिपूतमनर्गशीलं गोपालदेशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः। कावेरी विरजासेयं वैकुण्ठं रङ्गमन्दिरं सभासुदेवो रङ्केशः प्रत्यक्षं परमं पदं विमानं प्रणवाकारं वेदशृङ्गं महाद्भुतं श्रीरङ्गशायी भगवान् प्रणवार्थप्रकाशकः. This is the Purana Vachanam, and Swami Sri Ranganatha Swami and the Pranavakara Vimanam, along with the whole paraphernalia, emerged out from the Parkadal. So we would enjoy why Srirangam is called Bhuloka Vaikuntam, and it is the root of all 108 Divya Desams. Srirangam is the premier Sri Vaishnava Kshetram, first and foremost among the 108 Divya Desams. All Alvars, of course excluding Madhavakkannan Alvar, have sung in praise of Ranganathan. Sri Vaishnava Acharyas, Nathamuni, Alavandar, Ramanujar, and all other Acharyas have taken an active, great interest in the administration and management of this wonderful Divya Desam. This is supposed to be the root of all Divya Desams. And even every Sri Vaishnavan mentions Deshandra Katovapi Dvipandra Katopiva Srirangapi Mukho Bhutva Pranipadya Nashidati. Wherever he resides, whichever country he lives, he looks towards Srirangam and prays and enjoys praying to Ranganathan. We also mention in our Satumare Sriman Sriranga Sriyamanabhadrava Anudinam Samvartaya. Sriman Sriranga Sriyamanabhadravam Anudinam Samvartaya. So, this wonderful temple, especially during Ramanuja's time, it had far-reaching reforms that were introduced by Bhagavad Ramanuja. Srirangam has a wonderful, divine, eventful charitram, history, both in the religious as well as in the humanitarian aspect. Sri Vaishnava Acharyas have made it the headquarters of the Sri Vaishnava tradition, Sampradayam. The term Koil signifies Srirangam only. Perumal Koil is Varadaraja Perumal. Tirumalai is our Tirumala Srinivasa. The temple is enormous in size. Enormous. In fact, the Perumal is called Periya Perumal. And Pirati, Periya Pirati. Kovil, Periya Kovil. Ur, Perarangam. Taligai, Periya Avasharam. Vadhyam, Periya Melam. Bhakshyam, Periya Tiruppariyarangal. Tiru Paniyarangal. So, Veda Swarupan, Periya Perumal. Veda Sringam, Vimana Shiharam. Veda Pranavam, Pranavakara Vimanam. Vedaksharam, Gayatri Mandapam. And it has got Sapta Prakaram, 7 Prakaram. And the temple complex is about 150 plus acres. It has 7 Prakarams. These enclosures are formed by thick, huge Madil Shuvar, rampart walls, which run around the sanctum. The total length of these Sapta walls, the rampart, is about 30,000 plus feet. There are magnificent gopurams in all prakaram, providing a unique divine sight to anyone who visits. Of course, the 236 feet, highly stupendous, wonderful, majestic Gopuram, 13-tiered Gopuram, was built by our 44th year of Srimad Ahobila Math, and Samprokshanam was in 1987 with great fanfare and religious piety. So the grandeur of the towers is so beautiful that you cannot take your eyes off the Rajagopuram. You can even see from a much larger distance. The Periyakoil is so complete in all respects. It has the 7 prakaram and it has a main shrine where Lord Ranganatha is in a reclining posture on Adisheshan. There are sannidhis for Vishwaksena, Rama, Krishna, Nachiyar, Chakratalvar, Garuda, Hanuman, Andal, all Alvars, all Acharyas up to Vedanta Desika within the precincts of this Divya Desam. The Periyakoil, Srirangam itself is between the twin rivers of Kaveri and Kollinam. It's a 2 branch of Kaveri. The river has always been a very important adjunct of any Hindu temple. Now, the Sriranga Vimanam is said to have been narrated by Rudra to Narada, the origin of this Vimanam. According to Sriranga Mahatmyam, the Sriranga Vimanam emerged and sprang because of the tapas from Chaturmukha Brahma. He was performing tapas for very many years, thousands of years. And from the depth of Milky Ocean, the Parkadal, it emerged. It was born. It was carried by the celestial bird Garuda, Adishesha. And Adishesha had his hood, the talai, over the Ranganathan. Vishwaksena, the commander-in-chief, walked in the front, clearing the way. The sun and moon were kind of performing fan kainkaryam, the fanning the deity. The celestial musicians, Narada, Tumburu, they were all singing his glory. Rudra and other devatas raised the Jaya Gosham. The celestial dancers danced. There was a rain of flowers, and awakened from his deep tapas, Brahma prostrated before the Pranavakara Vimanam. He recited the Vedas and gazed and wondered, overwhelmed with joy. The Sunanda, the god, informed him that the Lord is pleased with his tapas and he has come to answer his prayers. Chaturmukha looked into the Vimanam. He found the supreme, majestic, divine Sarveshwaran resting with his consorts. The Lord informed Chaturmukha Brahma he has come as Swayam Vyakta, on his own accord, on his own volition, on his own desire, as a deity. He would appear likewise in 8 places Swayam Vyakta Kshetram: Srirangam, Srimushnam, Venkatadri, Shaligramam, Naimisharanyam, Totadri, Pushkaram and Badri. Rangavimanam is the first and foremost and earliest of all this. Perumal directed Brahma to worship him strictly according to the procedures laid down in the Agama and lay down his characteristic posture in Yoga Nidra. And that is based on the Pancharatra Agama. Brahma carried it to Satyaloka and consecrated on the banks of the river Viraja. He appointed Surya to do the daily Aradhanam. After Surya, Vaivashwata Manu performed the Aradhanam. When his son Ikshvaku became the king of Ayodhya, he wanted to have it installed. Because he is the king of Ayodhya, he wanted it at Ayodhya. He entered on a tapas which lasted for many 100 years, at the end of which he was given permission based on the instruction from Perumal to Chaturmukha Brahma, from Brahma to Ikshvaku, to carry and take the Perumal along with the Pranavakara Vimanam, along with other paraphernalia, to Ayodhya. The Vimana came to Ayodhya after Ikshvaku. The Ikshvaku dynasty continued the Tiruvaradhana Kainkaryam to Lord Ranganathan in Ayodhya. And our Ramavataram took place in the Ikshvaku Kulam, and he himself as an avatara of Lord worshipping him. And thereafter Perumal came to be known as Periya Perumal, because Perumal is the one who worshipped Periya Perumal. On his successful triumphant return from Lanka along with Sita in the Pattabhishekam, Rama gifted the Vimanam and Ranganathan to Sri Vibhishana for performing his Tiruvaradhanam. When Vibhishana set out for Lanka, he got down on the Kaveri bank to perform his Madhyanigam, the midday ritual prayer. He placed the Vimanam at a place known as Seshapitam near the Chandra Pushkarani. And when he returned after taking his bath and performing the puja, when he tried to lift again, it would not be possible. It did not move. It got stuck up. Vibhishana was overcome with grief and sorrow, shed tears. Perumal appeared before him and consoled him, saying that he need not grieve, as he had already decided to make this place as his abode, as his residence. He could come and worship him daily. It is said that Vibhishana even worships the Lord daily at midnight. And of course, why did he choose to stay here? Because of the king Dharmavarma, the Chola king. He had gone to Ayodhya and was blessed with the majestic beauty of Lord Ranganathan. He desired that Lord Ranganatha should bless him at his place in Cholanad. And that is why the Chola by name Dharmavarma, who was ruling, he had seen, he was so fascinated, he wanted to have it in his region. When he undertook a tapas on the banks of Chandra Pushkarani, the sages told him Sriranga Vimana was expected to arrive any time and requested him to give up the penance. He would come. Soon the Sriranga Vimana carried by Vibhishana had arrived, and he was here to stay in Srirangam. Such a wonderful way in which Perumal decided to bless us with the most beautiful Srirangam. And he has given so many upakarams, Divya Dampatis, for us. Swami Desikan mentions, Andamila Perinbam Arunda Yerkum, Adiyomai Arivudane Endrum Kaathu, Mundai Vinai Nirai Vazhiyil Oludademmai, Munnilayam Deshigardam Munne Sherthu, Mandiramum Mandirathin Vazhiyum Kaatti, Vazhipadutthi Vaanetri Adimai Kolla, Tandayai Nindra Tanittirumal Thalil, Thalai Vaithom Shatakopan Arulinale. The Divya Dampatis help us in every way. There are very many incomparable upakarams, help performed by them for us, the samsaris, with a view to join us in their Paramapadam. Vaikuntam Pugavadu Mannavar Vidiye, Nammalvar mentions. So, the upakarams are giving us the Sariram to house the Jivan. He blessed the Jivan to be eternal, Nityan in Swarupam, and blesses us the Jivan with Dharmabhuta Jnanam, the knowledge, and makes it as Jivan's Nitya Gunam, eternal Gunam. Protect the Jivan Swarupam and the nature. So, Adiyoma Yendrum Arivudane Kaathe. And Mandiramum Mandirathin Vazhiyum Kaatti Vazhipaduthi, by uniting us with the Sadacharyas for Upadesam of those sacred mantrams, the Ashtaksharam, Dvayam, Charmashlokam. The greatness of this acquisition of Jnanam through this Upadesham will result in Bhagavata Kainkaryam. So, this so nicely, and he says, அந்தணர் மாட்டு அந்தி வைத்த மந்திரத்தின் மந்திரத்தால் மறவாது என்றும் வாழுதியேல் வாழலாம். In Tirunedundantakam, even Thirumangai mentions this, "O my foolish mind, if you enjoy the Tirumantram, the saram of Vedantam, which is the wealth of the Brahmins, and if you reflect upon the meanings of this mantram, you will surely attain the nal valvu, the Sadgati." So, Tandayana Nindra Tanittirumal Talil Talai Vaithom Shatakopan Arulinale. The Lord stood as the forever caring, darling, dearmost Father, who performs great upakaram. He is a matchless, peerless, Opparil Appan Emperuman with the Mahimaya of Padara Vindam that has no comparison in its Anugraham. And how did we get that? Because of our Nammalvar, Prapanna Jana Santana Kutastar. Tanittirumal Talil Talai Vaithom Shatakopan Arulinale. Through the Parama Kripaya of Nammalvar, we got to Sri Vaikuntam and laid our feet at the sacred feet of Srimad Narayana as the ultimate step in Moksha Siddhi because of Sadacharya Sambandham, Bhagavan's Parama Upakarams. And why should he take this Archavataram? We can simply meditate his form, his painting is here. Because Perumal's again mercy, daya, compassion. He takes, because Narayana manifests everywhere, inside and outside of everything and everyone. There is no place, there is no one in which he does not exist. He is there everywhere. There is nothing in which he is not there. So in which case, why should he take these forms? Because of the ignoramuses, the people like me, like us. He takes these forms, the superiority of Archavataram, Archa Rupam. Among Sri Vaishnavas says Sriman Narayana's Pancharupam, which is Param, Vyuham, Vibhavam, Antaryami Rupam and Archa Rupam. Paramapadam, where the Lord is resident as Paramapada Nathan, which is surrounded by the Andams and the Avaranam waters, the oceans. It's not at all possible to access for us residing here. We cannot travel there even to get a vessel, to get a glass filled with these Avaranam waters. It is too far away. Param and Paramapadam cannot be enjoyed with our Sthula Shariram, with this Shariram. Only a Mukta Jivatma after Moksham possessing Sukshma Shariram can enter and enjoy the blissful Andamil Perinbam, the never-ending blissful Anandam there. The second Rupam is the Milky Ocean, Kshirabdinathan, which is also beyond our reach. It is only accessible to Devas and Maharishis like that. Hence, no use for us. The third Rupam is the Vibhavavataram. Rama, Krishna, Hayagriva, Varaha, Nrsimha, all these. But today it is only history. We cannot enjoy Krishna in the actual form, though we can see his painting and in the temples, like Gopikas did, like Akrura did, like even Kamsa saw, we cannot see. This Rupam is in the past. Today, not there. The fourth Rupam is the Antaryami Swarupam, the one who is indweller inside each one of these human beings. It is likened as the Utrujalam, the water which is underneath the earth, which has to be bored and dig in the riverbed sand to access the water which is under. Through the difficult Jnana Yogam, one can visualize this Swarupam of the Divya Dampati seated in our heart cavity. Very few can succeed. In such efforts, the Swarupam is also not within the reach of ordinary folks. So the fifth one, which is easily accessible for each one of us, is the Archavataram. Swami Desikan mentions Antarjyotik Kimapiyaminam Anjanam Yogadrishte Chintaratnam Sulabhamegana Siddhi Mokshanurupam Dhinanata Vyasanasamanam Daivatam Daivatanam Divyam Chakshrushruti Parishadam Drishyate Rangamadhye. Rangamadhye, I can see him. The continuous uninterrupted thinking by the Maharishis, contemplating him in the cavity of their hearts, they can see. He is to be continuously meditated upon. And our Lord Ranganatha, whom we can see in the middle of the stage, Rangam is stage, Rangamadhye in the middle of the stage. Deity is a supreme deity fit for our contemplation, our seeing with our naked eye and enjoy. The Pranava describes him. Desika emphasized that Ranga Vimana is Pranavam. Veda starts with Pranavam. Yogis cherish Pranavam as Ranganathan. He says in the last verse of Bhagavad Dhyana Sopanam, he resides in the heart of Ranga, and Ranga means the stage, and in my heart with full paraphernalia, namely the Antapuram, the 8 steps which are through the divine form, not only correspond to Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, but the study of the whole work will bless us with the deep devotion that will enable us to achieve moksha. So this so beautifully, he says, Divyam Chakshrushruti Parishadam Drishyate Rangamadhye. What to say? That which can be envisioned and visualized by yogis in mind is seen here in the shrine of center of Srirangam by everyone to see. Is so beautifully there. And all Alvas have sung. Ondrum Marandariyen Vodanir Vandanai Nan Indru Marappano Yalaiha Andre Karuvaranga Tutkadand Kaitoluden Kanden Tiruvaranga Meyan Dishai. He says, "O worldly people, those who have less knowledge and caught in the running behind materials, when I was in the womb of my mother, because of the Tiruvaranga Chelvan's kripai, I was blessed to fold my hand, and today I am not able to forget him. He is the one who blessed me with this jnanam. How will I be able to forget him now?" The Ranganathan. மனத்துள்ளான் வெங்கடத்தான் மாகடலான் மற்றும் நினைப்பரிய நீலரங்கத்துள்ளான் எனை பலரும் தேவாதி தேவன் எனப்படுவான் முன்னொரு நாள் மாவாய் பிளந்த மகன். Pudattaழ்வார் mentions about Tiruvarangam, Tiruvenkatam, and Emperuman is there in my heart forever. Such a beautiful way if each one is enjoying. Of course, nothing to beat our Tiruppanazhalvar. கொண்டல் வண்ணனை கோவலனாய் வெண்ணையுண்டவாயன் என் உள்ளம் கவர்ந்தானை அண்டர்கோன் அணியரங்கன் என் அமுதினை கண்ட கண்கள் மற்றொன்றினை காணாவே. The blue-hued, majestic, divinely handsome Lord, the one who took birth as the cowherd boy, the mouth which still has the fragrance of the butter which he ate. He is the one who captivated my heart. He is the chief of everyone, the Sarveshwaran. And now he is there in Srirangam, adorned in the Sriranga Divyadesam. He is my nectar. The eyes that have seen my nectar will not see anything else, anyone else. And he united with the Perumal then and there. Trimangayalvar mentions so many pasurams. பொய்வண்ணம் மனத்தகற்றி புலனைந்தும் செலவைத்து மெய்வண்ணம் நினைந்தவர்க்கு மெயின் நின்ற வித்தகனை மைவண்ணம் கருமுகில் போல் திகழ்வண்ண மரகதத்தின் அவ்வண்ண வண்ணனை யான் கண்டது தென் அரங்கத்தே. He is like the sapphire gemstone, and such a wonderful, beautiful, majestic Perumal I have seen. I am blessed to see him in Tiruvarangam. In fact, all this goes on to say that Thaiyar and Perumal have their rejuvenating and sanctifying kataksham on us. Thaiyar Ranganathan's beauty is the most delectable among all other Divyadesa Emperuman Soundaryam. Whereas Ranganayaki even is more than Ranganathan. Sahapatnya Visalakshya Narayanam Upagamat, Valmiki mentions, because when Rama was performing Trivaradhanam prior to the Pattabhishekam, Sita was enjoying Rama performing the Trivaradhanam for Lord Ranganathan. And Valmiki says, Visalakshya, her large, beautiful, well laid out eyes have become even wider, enjoying, admiring the beauty of her Nathan, Raman, Sri Ramachandra Murthy, who was so handsome and majestic, performing Tiruvaradhanam of more handsome and more majestic Lord Ranganathan. So she did not know, she turned around and looked intently at Rama and at Ranganathan to compare the beauty of her Lord in front of the Archamurti of Sri Ranganathan. And at both of them, with wide open eyes, she was admiring. Sahapatnya Vishalakshya Narayanam Upagamat. I can go on narrating, describing, enjoying Ranganathan. But time is limited, then it will become Bharatam. Adiyan. Kavitarkika Simmaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. May you all enjoy the Bhuloka Vaikuntam today. Dhanyosmi.